Welcome back to Author Journey. My name is CJ Anaya, and today we are here with Ava Walsh, by far the most talented 11-year-old I have encountered. I'm super excited to introduce you to her. She grew up in the country of unpredictable weather, which is Ireland. She loves reading and writing. She's loved it all her life, and she recently wrote a book called Pegasus Rewritten, which was published on Amazon, and I think that's just so exciting. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. She loves the idea of being an author, and she likes Stephen King and quoted him as saying, "Reading is like a form of telepathy. You create an image in your mind, and the person reading your book sees it too." She also enjoys dancing, boxing, and hurling. So welcome, Ava. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thank you, you too.
Yeah, I'm actually going to ask you a question that isn't even about books or anything, because when I was reading your bio, I didn't know what hurling was. In my country, that means something else entirely. So what is hurling?
Hurling is basically a sport with, so you have a big stick, and it's used for, you hit a ball across a field and into a net. Well, basically, there's loads of rules. I could go on forever about them, but it's really good. And then there's a girls' version of that called camogie.
Okay. Well, that sounds like fun. That sounds like a lot of fun, actually. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
it's a bit like
what?
Oh, it's a bit like hockey.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
well, then that gives me a good frame of reference to go by. Okay, so Ava, I want you to tell me, how long have you wanted to be a writer? Is this something recent, or have you wanted to do it for a while?
Well, I've always wanted to be a writer since, basically as long as I can remember. Like, I've been reading, I started being read to when I was about 3 or 4. And when I was about 6, I think I read my first book. And I think it was since then I've always wanted to write a book and, write my own journey and stuff like that. So I always just wanted to be an author since then, I guess.
Oh, that is so neat. Okay, so when you did decide to write a book, what made you decide to write about horses?
Well, I've always been, I've loved horses since I was very little and loads of other animals. And I guess I've been writing since I had my first writing lessons at 4, and I wanted to write about something I loved. So I wrote about horses, the first thing that came to my mind, and then the story just kind of folded out since there.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I think that's very smart. And well, it's something that a lot of authors, when they're older, don't actually think about. They don't consider tackling something that they already know. They try to tackle stuff that maybe they don't know a lot about, and it can be a little bit harder to write, So a lot of times we give that instruction to authors. I get that instruction all the time. Write what you know, write what you love, because you're going to be passionate about it. Yeah. And I think that shows in your book. I've been reading it with my daughter, and she loves it because she wants to take horseback riding lessons too. And so we've been reading. Oh, you're so welcome. We've been reading about Layla and Belle, and we have been reading how we're to the part where the horse has just had her baby. It's Ghost, right? And the name of the horse is Ghost. Yes. And the wolf attacked, and it's very intense and very interesting. And Sophie loves it. She thinks it's great. So, and I haven't.
I'm delighted.
I know, isn't that so much fun when you can write something that someone enjoys and has a good time reading? That's a good feeling.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, do you have siblings that you've read your book to?
Yeah, I have 2 older brothers and 1 little sister.
Okay.
I read my book to my little sister Lily, and she loved it. But I have to make the words a little bit, she's only 4. Well, she just turned 5 the other day, and when I read the book to her, I kind of, just made the words a little bit easier because she didn't understand it all that well.
Right. Oh, that's smart. I love that. I think I think that's so cute. Well, it's a fun story, and what I loved about it was the way that my little 8-year-old girl Sophie got excited, because she doesn't like to read. She struggles with reading, but And it's not because she can't read, she's very good at it. It's just that she's never
Yeah.
found anything that interests her, but your book did. So
Oh, thank you.
I just wanted you to know
Oh,
that.
oh, thank you
So
so much.
were you kind of afraid to write your books? Did that scare you at all?
Well, I don't think so. Like, I'm always afraid of what I'm going to say. I mean, like, I say the most random of things, but I, like, I don't know how my book's going to fare out. I mean, I start and I don't know how it's going to go. I mean, when I started writing Pegasus Rewritten, I hadn't a clue what was going to come out in the next 2 to 3 pages. You know what I mean? And like, I just never really knew how it was going to end. I never had a plan. I never had a plot. You know, it was really weird. But it folded out, I think, quite nicely. It was okay.
Yeah, I think it's turned out great. And there are a lot of people who write like that. We call them pantsers. They just fly by the seat of their pants and write it like that.
Yeah,
And that works
yeah.
out good. I think the story worked out really well. So
Thank you so much.
if you, when you started looking for someone to edit your book and the idea of publishing your book came to mind, were you afraid? Do you want to talk me through that process and tell me what happened?
Yeah, I wrote it on paper. It took about 5 days. I wrote it out on paper and I gave it to my dad. It took about 7 months for us to finally get it on the laptop. You know, just a bit of procrastination every here and there. But then my dad got in touch with Andrew Joyce, and he put it on. He gave it to his editor, Emily Gimmeter, and they both helped amazingly with it. It was amazing.
Oh, that's so fun. So you got an editor,
Yeah.
and then when they told you that you
Yeah.
were going to publish it, were you excited? I mean, did the idea of publishing a book even occur to you when you were writing it, or were you just writing it for fun?
I really wrote the book for fun, and like I thought it was just going to be another 5-page story. Do you know what I mean? And so when I got the news it was going to be published, I really couldn't believe it. It was like a dream come true.
Do you have plans to write more books?
Oh, definitely. I'm in the middle of one at the moment. I have about 40 to 50,000 words done, and yeah,
Wow.
I hope to get that published in the future.
And what is this book going to be about?
Vampires, and it's kind of a vampire romance novel, so
Oh,
something like
that's
that, really.
fun. That you should have.
Yeah.
Okay, I love vampire romance novels. That is a fun genre to write in. So now I'm totally excited for your next book.
Thank you.
So, what do you enjoy reading? What inspires you?
I love reading fiction. I love Darren Shan and Stephen King, and a lot of those fun authors as well, such as like Kathy Cassidy and all them. They're really good.
Okay, have you ever read any Nancy Drew mysteries at all?
I've heard of them, but I've never read them.
I've totally dated myself and made myself old. Anytime I talk to younger kids, I'm always saying, go read Nancy Drew mysteries because that's what I grew up on and that's what I read when I was younger. So even now, even at this age, I'm still telling people, go read Nancy Drew mysteries. So do you have plans for like a series of books for your vampire romance novel, or maybe like a sequel to Pegasus Rewritten?
Yeah, when I'm finishing my vampire one, I really want to go back to Pegasus Rewritten and write a sequel to that, and maybe a longer book, you know. I was always hoping to do a sequel to that, so that would be, yeah, I'd really like to.
When you're writing, are you able to write just for long periods of time, or do you sometimes just write in spurts and then like put it away for a while?
When I write, I kind of, sometimes I spend an hour at it, sometimes I spend 5 minutes at it, and then sometimes I could spend 3 hours at it. And then I might go on with that for about 4 or 5 days and get about, I don't know, about 3,000 words a day done maybe, and then just put it away and don't come back for a month until
Yeah.
another idea kind of starts.
I know for me sometimes when when I have a lot of different ideas in my head, it's hard to finish a book or finish a story. Do you have that same problem or trouble?
Yeah, definitely. Like there's always so many like ideas, and sometimes you can fit them all in, but you don't know what sequence to put them in, or you know when it's really hard sometimes.
That's true. That's true. Now, I understand that your father is a writer as well.
Yeah, and my dad writes poetry, and he has a poetry blog, and he wrote a book as well, and Genesis and other short stories, which is really good.
That is so cool. Is he kind of your inspiration as well too? Because you've seen him doing this. Is that part of what made you want to
Yeah,
do this?
yeah, like that definitely is, and you know as well, like my mom and my dad are always like, you know, go and pursue your dreams, and you know, do what you want to do when you're older. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Yeah, they're both
absolutely.
really inspirational.
So how do you balance
They're both
writing
really
with
well.
schoolwork?
Well, I'm in sixth year now, and well, it's hard now. I mean, we're going into nearly 2-3 hours of homework each night.
Ooh.
Including studying, and I mean, there barely is any time for writing except on weekends, which I'm finding hard to deal with at the moment because I haven't touched my book I'm writing at the moment in nearly 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding that really hard at the moment as well. But look, I'm going to have to do the schoolwork. I mean, there's no getting away from that, but I just wish I could get to my book a lot more.
Right. Well, I think obviously you're focusing on what you need to focus on, which is schoolwork.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah.
I think you've laid some really wonderful groundwork for practicing, you know, your craft and writing and doing so at such a young age, you know. A lot of
Thank you.
kids, I think a lot of kids don't realize that they can do this, that they can write a book and they can publish it and they can get their words out there and their thoughts out there. And I think that you're such a fabulous example of that. Especially for
Hmm.
adults. There are a lot of adults who are afraid to write and publish. You know, they're afraid of what people will think, or maybe they don't have confidence in themselves. And so, I really wanted to get you on here on my channel so that we could, you know, illustrate that absolutely you can. Look at this beautiful 11-year-old who's written a wonderful
Thank
book
you.
and plans on writing more and publishing more. It's just
Yeah.
it's very exciting. I'm really excited that you're doing this and that your parents are so supportive and helping you do this. So I think obviously you need to focus on your studies, but yeah, don't give up writing and don't give up your plans for writing more books or learning more of how to write more. You know, because
Yeah.
you're very talented. You've mastered so many technical aspects of writing that I've seen in the book. So I'm very excited for you.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Okay, I'm going to ask you one more question. What would you say to other people, young or old, who want to write and publish books, but maybe a little afraid to do so?
I would say go reach for the stars and don't give up until you catch them because, I mean, no matter how old you are, you could be 200 years old and you could have a million diaries and write a novel on them, or you could write a fictional novel and you could be 3 years old with like the brain of it, like, you know, a really like intelligent brain and go write a book. I mean, there's no age limit, and I just say go do what you want to do and pursue it.
Oh, thank you. That's wonderful. I love it. I love it so much.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Thank you for being here
No
and
problem
thank
at
you for
all.
talking to me. I so
Thank you
appreciate
for
it.
having me here.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, me too.
I'm going to put your link to your blog because you have a fabulous blog full of stories as well, and then a link to your
Thank you.
book in the description so that everybody can find you and follow you and be inspired and encouraged by what you are accomplishing, all right?
Thank you so much. It
You're
was lovely
so
talking to
welcome.
you.
All righty, we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, Ava.
Okay, bye.